So I've got this business idea that's going to make me a fortune, but I don't know how to market it and I don't have any money. Ever heard that one before? We've got a real viewer in studio waiting for our advice and an internet marketing expert on hand to help out. We're about to get tactical today on This Week in Marketing. Welcome to This Week in Marketing. I'm your host, Dan Granger. With me, as always, is not Scott McDonald, who is generally, I'm the Ed McMahon of the show. Scott could not be with us today after our interview last week. He's accepted a position at Ashley Madison, so he'll be going and working there from now on. No, that's a joke. Maybe not a very good one, but Scott is, he had an obligation. He'll be back next week. If you got a chance to watch last week's show, though, we got into the question of what is okay to market and isn't okay to market. And we interviewed a guy from Ashley Madison, the CEO and founder, and that site has about 10 million members. And it's basically a dating website for people that want to have an affair. And so it was a show more about the morality of it, and are the ads that you run able to get people to do something they wouldn't have done if they hadn't seen your ads, or is it just another way to catch people to take an action they were going to take anyway? We've got in a very spirited debate on that one, and we'd love to know what you think about it. Give us an email. Let us know what you think. marketing@thisweekin.com. By the way, you can always find us on Twitter, marketingtwi, as well as on iTunes. We encourage you to subscribe on iTunes, and please rate us. Now, today we're going to get out of the theoretical. We're going to get into some very practical marketing help. We have an entrepreneur here who is in a situation that a lot of people can relate to. Not a lot of money, but has a great product and just wants to know, how do I bring it to market with limited resources? So we're going to get very specific and give some very actionable advice. And then, of course, we're going to play a little Does It Sell? Before we get into that, I want to introduce our expert that we have with us today, a gentleman named Bryan Sullivan with a company that many of you have probably heard of called ReachLocal. Okay, so ReachLocal, just to give you a little background, was founded in 2004. It's a publicly traded company based here in Woodland Hills, California. Has over 1,300 employees operating in more than 45 offices across the United States and in a few other countries as well. Customers are online, and ReachLocal helps businesses find them with broadcast through local digital media and a dedicated force of internet marketing consultants. So welcome, John. Thank you for, I'm sorry, Bryan, for being with us. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what is ReachLocal.
Well, thanks for having me, Dan, first of all. ReachLocal is a digital advertising firm that focuses on helping local businesses like Kevin's that need some help advertising online. Anything from search engine advertising to display ads to social media and anything in between. That's where we help our businesses, and that's where we consult with them about how to get online, how to do it effectively, and for an appropriate dollar amount.
So what's interesting to me about ReachLocal is that everybody knows that the internet is critical today. If you want your business to have a future, you have to have a presence online. But very few people, I think, feel confident enough to manage their own campaign. And yet, if you're a small business or you have a new concept, to go outside and hire somebody to either a big agency or a firm to work on it for you, or to hire somebody full-time just to work on your advertising is very prohibitive. What does it cost for people to get started with ReachLocal?
Well, that's a great question. It's funny you say that about advertisers saying, I hear advertisers all the time that tell me that, you know what, the internet's the wave of the future, I need to be online soon. Like, unfortunately, you're a little bit past that point. You need to be online a long time ago.
Sure.
But as far as the costs go, it really depends on the industry and depends on the category. Okay. For instance, if you're a LASIK surgeon in Manhattan, if you want to advertise to the entire greater New York area, you're looking at anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 a month on the pay-per-click advertising front.
$10,000 to $20,000 a month?
A month, potentially.
Okay.
But then again, it just really depends on the goals of the advertiser, and the particular area and the category, and it's really tailored to really what the market delegates as what the appropriate budget should be for that particular industry in that particular geographic area. And then again, we also handle things along the line of display advertising, like remarketing. For instance, hitting up everybody that landed on your website again with a banner ad, and when they raise their hand, land on your website, we'll hit them up again and throw a display ad in front of them. That can be as low as $250. So it really depends on that advertiser.
So when you're talking about remarketing, you're talking about the ads that follow people. So I go to a website, and then I go off of that website, and I go somewhere else. And all of a sudden, the website I was on, there's a banner ad following me around.
Right.
So I assume you're talking about that kind of thing. Now, I always want to know this. Is that a lot more expensive than the banner ad would be if it weren't following me? Like, I usually measure things in CPM, cost per thousand. Okay, but typically I find things are in the neighborhood of $10 CPM, which is basically like a penny every time there's an impression.
Right.
Okay, if that were the bar, okay, what is the CPM normally per impression when you're doing remarketing?
It's a little bit higher than just a broad awareness type of impression. So if you're just blasting out to 90% of where people are landing online, it's going to be about between $1 to $5 on the CPM front. But if it's a remarketing type of impression, it's a little more expensive, it's a little more targeted. So you're looking at somewhere around $3 to $5, and those rates and prices float depending on the campaign. Once again, depending on the area, because we're actually geo-targeting those particular re-impressions as well.
And a lot of people that reach out to us that watch the program, we find a lot of people that have web startups, and it's usually something that it isn't usually a very saturated industry. They're usually carving out a new category from an old way of people doing things. So if it isn't very competitive, what does someone have to budget to get a good search campaign going?
Well, that's a great question. Now, the budgeting itself isn't as necessarily as important as differentiating yourself from the competition. Because anybody, even Kevin, could go online in 20 minutes and set up an AdWords campaign, Google AdWords campaign, and set up a text ad. And the budget for that particular industry in a particular area, once again, is going to be about the same ballpark, but actually tailoring that campaign to differentiate, for instance, Kevin's business against the 50 other people in the area that are doing it, and to have some level of differentiation and to have them stand out from the competition is actually more important than money. It's not just about money. I mean, some advertisers say, well, I'll spend as much as you want me to spend as long as it converts and I get business out of it.
If it works, I'll spend more.
Yeah, we hear that all day.
I've heard that before.
Oh, you've never heard that before? Of course. But, at the end of the day, I'll say, look, you want to spend $50,000 a month? I can't take it. I can't spend that much money online. It's about volume. It's really about tailoring a digital advertising portfolio that really makes sense for that particular business. Okay. So just spending more doesn't always work. And a lot of advertisers say, I want to be #1 on Google.
Yeah, but everybody's question is, what's the minimum I can spend to try it and get started? And what do you guys say to that?
I would say $250 on a remarketing campaign. If you're getting unique visitors hitting your site every month, remarket them. At the very least, for the folks that are landing on your website, that are raising their hand and saying, I'm slightly interested, hit them up again with a banner ad as they're moving throughout the internet. So build some brand equity in that particular business.
There you go. How about, tell us about when they do business with you, how much consulting can they really afford to get at such low levels of spend? I mean, how involved do you guys actually get with the clients? Well,
it really depends on the advertiser, but as much as we feel we deem fit, as much as that particular advertiser may potentially need. We have some stories where we'll start out with a $250 remarketing campaign, and the client says, well, I only have $1,000 to spend a month. We'll start with a $250 campaign. We'll consult around building the website to be more conversion friendly. We'll consult around differentiating yourself from competition. We'll consult around what you're doing to target the folks that you've actually had client interaction with already, using social media and Facebook and even Twitter and YouTube channels. Then ultimately, we see that business grow. So we're kind of running alongside that business and we're growing with them. So as far as the cost for a consultant, we don't sit there and say, okay, we've been here for an hour. It's $100. That's our consulting fee. It doesn't work that way. So we want to get in front of the particular advertiser to help them grow, because it's a win-win for both of us. They're going to grow and they're going to augment their advertising budget with us, and we're going to see it, and we're going to be partners over time and to have a true consultative relationship with them. So we don't charge for consulting. And some advertisers, they have a marketing in-house personnel and they do it on their own, and we'll run alongside them as well. But some folks, they need a lot of help.
One last thing I want to try to learn from you before we really start getting into Kevin's situation is, you guys manage how many campaigns? Is it? I know it's in the thousands.
It's 21 to 22,000.
22,000 different businesses that are running campaigns through ReachLocal. Okay, so technically, you guys should probably have more case studies than anybody online other than, you know, maybe Google and Yahoo.
Right. A lot of info.
And Bing. So what are some takeaways that you can give to small businesses that you've learned from having access to all those case studies?
Right. That's good. That's a good question. This is what I would advise a local business that would potentially be considering, let's say, running a pay-per-click advertising campaign. Pay-per-click being on Google, on Google or Yahoo or Bing for running a search engine advertising or pay-per-click. The little ads you see on Google.
Yes.
Because that's probably where we see about 60 to 70% of a lot of advertisers doing for direct response.
Yes.
The quick answer is this: you don't need to be at the top of the page to get business.
Huh.
You don't need to be number one on the page. A lot of advertisers, they tell me, I want to be number one, and the phone's going to start ringing off the hook. That's a misnomer. That is not the case. Look for the sweet spot on the page. You don't need to bid $15 a click for a keyword when you could bid $8 a click on a keyword, be in the middle of the page, and just get just as much business out of it. Secondly, make sure you, once again, I keep coming back to this, but differentiate yourself from the competition. Use a text ad, which is that ad on Google or Yahoo and Bing. Use something that branches out from what you see everybody else doing, because then you're just not commoditizing what you do. And lastly, make sure that folks, when they land on your page, when they land on your website, wherever it is, whatever it is, there's a strong call to action. I can't tell you how many strong call to action, meaning that we want to action. We want to actually push the people that are landing on your website, that have raised their hand and said, I'm interested, to do what? Pick up the phone and call you or email you or type in a form, because I can drop 1,000 people on your website a day, but if they're not calling you, you don't give a darn. You don't care.
If you got holes in your net, it
it doesn't matter. So you want at least to convert a certain percentage of those folks.
That's good stuff.
That's what you want to do.
Very good, very good. Okay, so let's get to our friend Kevin. Kevin Wagner is the owner of AAction Appliance, Inc. Kevin, tell us, just in a nutshell, what is the new product that you're launching?
The new product is I go out and fix stainless steel scratches on major appliances, Sub-Zeros, ranges, refrigerators.
Okay, so is there a market for this that's already being dominated? Is there a big player that removes the scratches from stainless steel appliances
No,
already?
I couldn't find anybody.
Okay, so that's great.
In fact, I tried Googling somebody to help me take a scratch out of a hood.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anybody, and that's why I started it.
Yeah, that's great. And I know your background, you've run an installation company for many years.
Right.
And I know you're well connected with some of the big retailers here in Southern California. So the reason that I thought it was important to have you on and to really dive into your situation is because it doesn't matter if it's stainless steel scratch removal or a .com that is, you know, disruptive and creating a new industry for something. Whether it's a retail location or anything else, you've got something different that the market doesn't know about.
Right.
And I think that anything worth marketing needs to have that point of differentiation built into the product. When I work on a lot of different kinds of ad campaigns, and the worst kinds to work on are when you say, what is it that you do that's different? And the business owner says, well, nothing. Well, so why should anybody call you? Because a lot of people just want marketing to be effectively putting lipstick on a pig.
Right.
And the reality is it's so much better and so much easier and so much better for consumers and the businesses to just have something that's already a part of who you are, that separates you. And then all the marketing, you don't have to, it's not even about being clever, it's about being clear. And so in your case, I thought you had a great example, you are a great example of somebody that, okay, you've got the product side, which is going, you've got the secret sauce, now how do we get them in to try the burgers effectively?
Exactly.
And how do we do it with, what was your budget, $1 million a month? No. $2,000 a month. That's right, $2,000 a month. So what is a guy like you to do with that kind of a budget? So do you want to, can you set up for us, normally what we've been doing is we created a segment called Marketing Rehab, and Scott and I will each, and our guest will we'll each have like 90 seconds on the clock. Today, because you're in studio, we're going to go a little bit more in depth than that. We're not going to limit it to a finite amount of time. But can you tell us what it is you hope to accomplish from us today to help you get to where you want to be in marketing?
Well, nobody's doing it. Couldn't find anybody to help me out with the scratch, so I taught myself how to do this. And now I want to know, because nobody is doing it, how I can just get it to everybody right away before people start copying it.
Okay. How much of this business are you doing right now?
I'm getting calls every day, and I haven't done anything until I talk to you.
Okay.
So
wow.
I haven't marketed it. I haven't done anything yet.
How much revenue are you seeing without any marketing whatsoever?
I'm averaging $400 an hour when I'm on a job.
And so how many hours are you putting in a week on this?
Well, I'm doing a couple jobs a week.
Couple
right
jobs
now.
a week. All right,
Yeah.
so we're at about $800 a week. And what's the capacity for a one-man shop to do in revenue on a weekly basis?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on how many calls come in.
Let's call it 40 hours. So
If you know what you're doing, you could do, 40 hours.
okay, so this we'll say has the capacity to gross you about $16,000 a week.
Right.
Now, from our previous discussions, what I think we really want to accomplish with you here today is to figure out what is a very simple marketing plan that you can execute with next to no budget.
Right.
And then secondarily, I know you had a question about how do I get investors involved so that I can franchise it?
Correct.
Which is also your other question. So, Bryan, I'll let you jump in a minute, but the first thing I want to do is let's take this issue of, hey, I've got this great idea, how do I franchise it and make millions? Let's set that aside, because I think a lot of people fall into this trap. They get a good product and they want to skip a bunch of steps and start getting other people to run the business. And I think that a successful franchise is not just having a good product, but also having a good marketing system, also knowing what to charge, also having given it a chance to prove itself out over time. And I feel like until you can feed a family with the revenue that the business is building in, don't worry about franchising. Worry about getting this into the hands of consumers and running a profitable business. And then once you've really created an ironclad system that can be duplicated and you can scale it, well, then it's yours to either open up as many locations in as many markets as you want, or you can look at the franchise route. But until you create the rest of the system, I don't think you should even be looking for capital for that. I think you should be trying to get a little bit of capital so that you can really figure out the whole formula and then sell that.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here today is not focus on anything franchise related. We're just going to talk about how we would market it. Okay. And I've got an earful for you, and I know that Bryan has some thoughts too. So Bryan, before we get down into anything related to search, what are your off-the-cuff thoughts on his business?
I like it, and in the little bit of research that I've done around this industry in the past, he's right. It's somewhat niche at this point in time. There's not a tremendous amount of competition, which means that it's a premature industry where he can capitalize on it. But even saying it right now means that someone's going to be jumping into it and capitalizing in it.
Perhaps.
Yeah, so you need to jump on. The window of opportunity is very limited, so capitalize on it very quickly.
Cat's out of the bag.
A couple things that you could do.
The steel industry is just—they're all tweeting
no,
as
they're
we
not.
speak.
Right now, it's going around. We have 45 websites up in the next half hour.
Yeah.
As far as recommendations, if you want me to get into that a little bit now.
Well, I got one more question I wanted to get to. So the name right now is AA Appliance Inc. Can you explain that?
It's AAction Appliance Inc. It's action with two A's.
The fact that you needed to tell me that at this point, I think proves where I'm going with this. But what was the thought behind the extra A?
We started, Cindy and I started the company this is our 22nd year. And back then, advertising was the Yellow Pages. Yeah. So AAC.
Yeah.
So I just threw an A in front of action.
Yeah, well, we need to take that A and throw it in the garbage. And I think we need to take the action. I think we need a whole new name for this business. And I think that's primary. Have you named this segment of the business yet?
The Scratch
Yes.
thing? Well, I got a new domain name on Scratch Masters.
I like Scratch Masters. Did you get
Just
.com?
in case.
Did you get .com?
.co.
No. Well, I know that there may
I
be
think
people
.com was
associated
taken.
that. Yeah, .com is taken. So
Yeah.
why don't we start there? Okay. Scott, who normally does this show, he does performances on the side, and he has to advertise when he's doing a show to his friends. He has a site that's showfrog.com. Doesn't have anything to do with frogs, but it was probably $8 when he bought it, and it's memorable. You can't screw up the spelling. What could you do so that it's something where somebody hears it and they're never going to screw it up, whether it's, Scratch King or Re-Steal or Steal Again or, Scratch Smashers, but make sure it's a .com. So there's not going to be any confusion, because the second you start marketing and sending people to a .net, .biz, .anything else, people are going to go to .com and get confused. You'll lose those prospects forever. Okay, so you need a very clean and simple name that's related to your business, and you need to forget the old thinking, which is we add an extra A at the front of it so we get a better Yellow Pages listing.
That was 20 years
That's
ago.
all over with, right? So we got to change that.
Got it.
So with that said, let's just fire away. Why don't you take a minute or two and just give them what you got? And while we're doing this, we can also get your website up on the screen. If we want to do a split screen, then we can.
Sounds great.
See both.
So Kevin, take a look at your website, and what you should be doing is registering your domain. And what that should be is you do some research around what that should be. And he's absolutely right. .co, not the greatest idea. First of all, people will think actually it might be a typo, and people think it might be a .com and go to it. You don't have a redirect right now, which means that you don't own that. That's why Scratch Masters was still available. So your website right now is a good foundation for the success of this potential of your current business, but not for your new venture.
Okay.
But you can. A question a lot of folks ask me is, should I build a new domain, a new website, or should I leverage it on my current site? And the answer is yes. Why not do both? Like you have currently on your site right now, you have the bottom of the page, you have an advertisement for your stainless steel resurfacing product, which is great. So people can go to your website from there, but having a separate website is going to give you the ability to market that particular domain and register it on Google Maps, register it on Google Local, start getting some reviews on Yelp, and start getting some viral marketing around doing that. So the first answer is yes. Find a domain, research it on GoDaddy or whatever, whois.net, and find out where you can actually get an available domain and then start marketing it. Get people talking about it. I imagine you have some happy customers, right?
So far.
Okay, so would they be willing to give you a positive review online somewhere?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why not leverage
In
that?
fact, the guy I did today said if he wanted a testimonial, give him a call during the show.
Well, I'm going to take his word for it, but that sounds like a great opportunity.
No,
but
it's worked out really
you
good.
should have that on the website.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got about 3 more minutes for this segment, and I want to run through a couple things. But do you have any final thoughts on this?
The most important thing you can do right now is just register with Google Local. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, because that's going to get your best bang for your buck and immediately show up. And right now, no one's showing up for anything local. So stainless steel appliance resurfacing, no one is showing up even close to the map on the local side. So if you register a domain that might have Los Angeles in it, or San Diego or Orange County, it might be the best immediate route to take.
By the way, we're being told that actionappliances.com is available, but that would be more for the other business. FYI, $8. So really quick, here's what I got, okay? After you do the name and after you forget franchising, pursue partnerships through business development. You're going to have to be, until you can afford to pay other people to do it, you are the sales force, okay? And if you can't afford to a big megaphone to reach the masses, which I think this has potential to do, like we talked about, I think you could go on TV and radio with this thing later, okay? But right now, you've got the ability to go and get yourself like an end cap at a retail chain. You could be like a Geek Squad type service inside of a vendor. See if you can get inside of Pacific Sales. See if you can get them to make referrals for you and share revenue on that.
They are.
You need, okay, exactly.
I've already.
But we need more than like 2 a week. We need to get a lot of these partnerships in place so that everybody says, by the way, do you want to get rid of your, your scratches with that? And that they can, start to sell it for you. So the more distribution you get in that way, the better that'll go. I think that
that's what's happening right now.
Good. Good. Well, we want to pursue that more and knock on doors and make calls.
Right.
And I think that you need a really succinct piece that is on your website, but that can also be like a flyer that you can use. One time we got asked to review a door hanger. I thought it was bad for that business to put it on consumers' doors. For you, not so much. I think you could go on doors and hand out flyers. And I think it's very succinct. Here's how much it costs to replace this sink. Here's how much it costs to get it
looking new.
Looking new, okay?
Right.
And when people see that they're going to get 85% off by working with you, they're going to call. It's as simple as that.
No-brainer.
So it's a no-brainer. I think you need to be involved in search advertising because you can really limit your budget on that. You don't have to. You can pay for the actions that people take. I think obviously word of mouth is going to help you. There's a guy named Roy Williams, the Wizard of Ads is what he goes by. He's written a lot of books. He coined a phrase called business problem topology, which is a fancy way of saying that's when you look at an industry that's parallel to yours but not yours,
right,
and draw from that to inform what you should be doing in your business that nobody else is doing now. You need to look at the dent companies that take dents out of cars. You need to look at a company called Rebath. If you haven't already, Rebath says don't replace, rephase on your bathrooms and your kitchens. Okay, they've already figured this business model out. You just got to figure out what their best practices are and do those, right?
Great.
Okay, clear representation through your website. You've already got the business. The biggest thing you need is clarity in your messaging. So when we look at the website, I want to see before and after. Very clear, and you need to spend a little more time, get a better camera than what you've already done. I want to see the product of it, a simple, impossible to misspell URL. You could even, on a phone, on a smartphone, you could do a video, a YouTube video, and say, here's what we do and here's how it works. Watch us get this dent out, okay? Upload that to a website. It'll cost you next to nothing. You need a contact form on that site. Like the man said, you've got to have a strong call to action. Give them an offer if they contact you through the channel that you want them to. Free estimates, so on and so forth. Come up with a guarantee. We'll pay for a new appliance if we can't get your scratch out. Something bold, something powerful. Go to something like Ring Central or Call 8 and get a trackable phone number. So when somebody calls 1-800-444, scratch or whatever, okay, you're going to be able to log onto your computer and see how many people called and from where, and make sure you never miss a call, okay? And above all else, just remember, clarity, clarity, clarity. The business is good. The model is right. You just need to be really clear in what you tell people, and don't forget to hustle. At the end of the day, you got to hustle. Good. Keep up the hustle. So we thank you for joining us. We've only got just a couple minutes left, and I really want to go through some ads. Let's play Which Test 1 really quick, where we're going to show 2 different landing pages for somebody else's business, and we have A and we have B. Let's show A up on the screen. Okay. Version A, we're going to guess which one performed better. It has, the only difference is where it says free delivery, 100 pounds or whatever that is, okay? On the left-hand side, it gives you 3 benefits. Now in slide B, when we look at it, those 3 bullet points go away, and it's a bigger button that says free. Now we have to guess, is it A or B that worked better? I'm going to guess A, but I'm really not sure on this one. What do you guys guess?
Sorry, Dan, I'm going with B.
What do you say? A, 2 A's and a B. Let's see what we got. Version B was the bigger free delivery button. You were right. How'd you know?
Just a more higher call to action. Once again, free delivery jumped out at me. It was just a bigger.
He yelled free louder.
That's it.
And that was it.
That was it. I actually
I
looked
should
at
have
them
known
side
that.
by side.
That's like the second time I've been wrong, I think, since I
surprised,
do this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, hey, let's watch an ad really quick. Let's play Does It Sell? Let's keep it local and go straight to Country Hills Toyota. This is a radio spot. Let's go Country Hills Toyota.
Some things never change. Kind of like the winter in Calgary. Just keeps dragging and dragging on.
Although some things that never change are good, like Country Hills Toyota being closed on Sundays. We have always believed that our staff should have a day that they can spend with their family. So see, sometimes change is a bad thing.
So the value
I never
proposition
ever
is,
thought I'd say this, Farley.
at this Toyota dealership, they
Do we
give
have
their
that
staff
recorded?
a day off to spend with their friends.
But you're right. From all of us at Country Hills Toyota, have a great Sunday.
Okay, so their whole advertising campaign, they're buying ads to tell you, do business with us because we effectively recognize the Sabbath. Does it sell?
There's so many things wrong with this ad. I don't even know where to begin. I'm so happy they're not in my
like
market.
one,
I want to pick
one
like
or
one.
two.
I work throughout the week. On a Sunday, I might want to go to the car dealership and look for a car.
Your day off.
Spend time having lunch. And everyone wants to spend time with their family, but that's when I have time off. That's one. I have many more. I won't go into it.
Okay, so you say no. What do you say?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
I'm with
Sunday
you
off.
on that one. For me, I mean, they may be in a very, they may have a very, evangelical, highly concentrated population that they're appealing to, but I don't think it sells. That's not a good value proposition. You just could have told us why to buy a car from you, and instead you told us that you give your employees a day off.
Right.
Okay, I'll bet other dealerships give employees a day off too, and sometimes it's Sunday, but that's not enough to make me buy a car. I think that that's about a 95% waste of, they're wasting 95 cents on every dollar for that one. If we've got time, let's do one more, and let's watch Join Me.
Thanks,
This one will be a little
everyone,
more
for taking
visual
the
for
time,
you.
especially
So we've
considering
all
how
seen
busy
this
we all
office
are, but
before, and we've all been in
understanding
this
stuff
meeting.
is really important. This could make or break this quarter. So let's just jump right in.
Everybody's sleeping.
Come on, folks. We just started. Wake up, all right? Good.
Who's a pretty pony? You're a pretty pony.
Hello?
He's playing with My
Not
Little Ponies.
playtime. This
Yeah, I didn't
is
see you. Had a lot
not
of fun.
The
a
agency
fraternity
definitely had a lot of
party.
fun, and here's the
Let's roll
issue.
on.
I think this is a 60-second spot, okay?
Yep.
And we get what's happening,
Way
and
too
this
long.
is what happens through the whole ad.
Way too long.
Way too
Way
long.
too long. Cut it down
Okay.
to 15 to 20 second spot. Plus, you're wasting a lot of time, and every
I'm
10
alive,
seconds that goes by, another
and
20
I
to 40
can
grand
hear
in
everything that goes on in this
spot
room.
time, depending on the market. So
Yeah.
I agree.
So are you saying yes or no, does it sell?
I think it could sell if they cut it down, and then I get a little edgy with the. I don't like how they dance on the edge of what's appropriate. Saw the whole ad
Meetings
with,
are better online. Join.me. Okay, free online meetings. All right, so
which
that's
has been done to death over the past 5 years with WebEx and GoTo. So why do I want to use you? Why? Because I've never heard this before? No.
well said.
Yeah.
Well said. So that's a no.
That's a no.
And for you?
I thought it was pretty funny, but
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if they had done a 30 and they did, 3 of their little shticks, okay, but then gave you 10 seconds of sales messaging, this is why we're better.
Right,
yeah.
If they took this, the dent or the crack out of the steel and just told you this is our secret sauce, that would have been helpful. They didn't do it. They got carried away with the
it
creativity.
went too long.
Thumbs down on that. If we've got time, we can do Schweppes. And then we'll wrap the
No
program.
personal questions whatsoever during the interview. You have 6.5 minutes. Have a great interview.
So, tell me.
I don't deny it. All the things they say are true and
Uma
much,
Thurman.
much more. I love Schweppes. And I need to have it all the time.
Okay,
I
so
like
we're
to have Schweppes with
we all get the
strangers.
point now.
I
Uma
like having
Thurman
Schweppes at home.
is using Schweppes instead of
Or
sex.
sometimes
And the
in
big
taxi.
reveal is, hey, she's
you?
not talking about
Would you?
sex. She
Have
means
some
a product.
Schweppes. Just
So,
me and
Let me
you.
ask you guys,
I'm
does
sorry,
this make
Huma,
you want to
but you mean sex, right?
have some Schweppes?
Cut! No, Schweppes.
And I mean Schweppes.
I'm kind of tired of all the suggestive commercials.
Hey,
Okay.
what did you expect?
First of all, I'm going to rent
Plus
all
it
the
went
Kill
on
Bills
and on.
tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
1783.
But I thought maybe Uma was doing a little better in her career. That she has to do a Schweppes pay, but who knows what she's getting paid for it. But
Yeah.
I think it's solid. I think it's good. I think for that demo and who you're targeting, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
All
on that
right.
one.
And you say,
Yeah, it was okay.
is okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Didn't
weak.
grab me.
Give me a yes or a no. Come on.
Yes.
Yes, okay. I'm going to say no because, I mean, look, Uma is captivating. There's no question. And in that ad, they really achieved that. But I am so tired of ads that say, are we talking about sex? Are we talking about sex? No, we're talking about a product. That is not an ad. That does not communicate a benefit. And if that's the best reason I should buy Schweppes, no. I still think that even consumable brands that can't really do DR, I still think they need to communicate a clear value proposition. They did not, and for me that fails. So that's all the time we got for the show. Thank you for being with us. Guys, this was really good insight.
Thank you
great
for having
conversation.
me.
Hopefully you're able
Thank
to
you.
get something out of that and make a lot of money with it. Hopefully everyone that's watching, you're able to get something out of his story. Please, if you want us to go through your marketing case studies and really give you honest feedback, email it to us, marketing@thisweekend.com. Subscribe on iTunes. Please rate us. Marketing TWI on Twitter. And again, marketing@thisweekend.com if you want to email us. I don't care if it's a PowerPoint presentation, a television spot, whatever it is, send it along. Thanks for watching. Next week, we've got Scott is back with us. Scott, we missed you. Dimitri, the CEO of the Visionaire Group, is going to talk to us about his business, which allows you to do viral marketing. And he's done it more than once effectively. So that'll be an interesting conversation. Thanks for joining us on This Week in Marketing.